Hey everyone, this is Josh back with Cardboard Chronicles, and today I'm interviewing Nate, a high-end LeBron James collector. How you doing, Nate?
I'm well, Josh. Thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, dude. I'm really excited about this one. We're gonna be talking about LeBron James, and that is it, just LeBron James collecting. So I've been looking for a hardcore LeBron guy to interview, so I'm really excited about this one. Why don't you start us off, Nate? Tell us about yourself, your background in the hobby.
Cool, man. My name's Nate. Born and raised in Pittsburgh. My day job, I'm in the oil and gas business, natural gas drilling here in this area of the country. And like my card background, the story to me is actually kind of funny. So growing up, my father was a very humble man, lived within his means, and did set collecting of '60s baseball, '70s basketball, stuff like that. Just all raw, like didn't care about condition, just like the guy at the show, like rooting through boxes, like with his yellow piece of paper with what he needed, like putting his sets together. And at a young age, you don't really have a concept of money, so like I guess the cards were cool, and going to the shows I thought were cool, and he did what he could to like get me interested. I think like I bought a box of Stadium Club and like baseball in like '96. I want to say it was like I'll never forget it. Andrew Jones Ticket to Stardom insert number to 25. I was like, he's like, yeah, your box sucked except like that card. He's like, that might be worth money. I'm like, okay, whatever. So never really hardcore into it. Really never even appreciated kind of what he was doing or that. The one thing I do remember that he got into was like 8.5 by 11s of just like certified autos, like solidified stars, like Gretzky, Jordan, Tiger, like Ruth, and he built a really big binder of them, which was cool, and I thought that was cool because I was always a big sports fan, and to see just like not these obscure guys, but guys that I knew through whatever at a young age, just knowing about it. So I thought it was cool. Getting back into it, not the office we're in now, but a few offices ago where our business was located, a gentleman that actually had another business in there was opening up a card shop in the Pittsburgh area that was almost directly across the street from where our office was now. And he said, hey, come check this out. I'm doing this card shop, sports of this. And as soon as he left, I looked at my business card and I was like, guys, this is really dumb. Like, this is like for like weirdos and like nerds or like little kids. Like, I'll go check it out, but like, this is really, really dumb to me. And we went over there, and the thing that blew me away the most was the price of some of the wax they had over there, right? I'll never forget my other business partner and another guy split a box of, I think it was like 14 NT football or 15 NT football, whatever year card was rookie, and they hit the hats off like RPA. And the guy was just like, I'll buy that back off you for $1,000. I'm just like, wait, what? Like, cards are worth this? Like, that box is 600. Like, what? It was just like so crazy to me. And to be honest, initially, like that's what intrigued me. That was just like, listen, I'm a collector. I love it, passionate about it, enjoy collecting. Not in it solely for the financial reason, but just the sheer value of this stuff was initially what intrigued me, and how there were these crazy logo patches and cards, and now everything's autographed. And taking such a long break from what I initially knew through my father and just like as a young 8, 9, 10-year-old kid to get back to it now is, another world of how much this stuff has evolved, and kind of just got into it like that, and just like started off just like breaking, ripping, just like hit order me whatever I want. And hoops in high school, the NBA has just become like my favorite sport. So, ordering me hoops, doing NT, flawless, all that crazy stuff. And I was just like, yeah, this is like cool, but I mean, I'm probably a better odds playing blackjack at some point, right? So,
Yeah.
so did that, and then kind of got more into like soul collecting, like players, and eventually to LeBron. But that's kind of my story of like how I initially got into it.
Nice. So, what do you collect today then? It sounds like you kind of went through that initial phase where you had to figure stuff out. So then you honed
100%,
in on
yeah,
LeBron.
100%. Like I had no idea, and I knew that LeBron had, being from the area, relatively where LeBron is from, Akron, Pittsburgh. We've known about him for a long time. His high school team was fortunate enough to watch St. Mary's play in Pittsburgh in '02, which was sick. And just like I don't know, just knew he was something special. Has been my favorite player since before he was in the NBA. Like still is. GOAT argument, whatever. But like, awesome. And I just thought that A, he was my favorite player, and B, if I was gonna seriously like sink some money into something, like I'm just saw the volatility of like some of the rookie classes and prospecting and stuff like that, and I was just like, probably just rather put my money into something that A, I love, and B, is probably a little bit safer. So it ended up landing on LeBron after probably like 18 months of like having no clue what I was doing in the hobby and countless dollars and that whole game. But glad I did, So it's I guess. And now I'm almost 95% LeBron exclusive. If I see like an area to where a guy that I like prospecting and the market kind of dictates that might be something I want to follow through with, I'll do it. But it's not something that I really spend a lot of time on or actively seek out to try to do to build to my collection per se.
Sure. So why don't you give everyone a taste, kind of what specifically you collect?
Cool. Yeah, definitely. There's so I guess a little bit about my collection. Definitely like prefer rookie stuff and like exquisites and like stuff like that. The cooler stuff. But I also, up until recently, was a really, really big fan of the ultra low number parallels that Panini was doing. 101s to 5 to 10. Like I like based on product, select prism, stuff like that. And I've actually been fortunate enough to pick up some bigger pieces recently and had to trade and sell and move some of that stuff off, which I really, really regret. But if you want to get into bigger stuff, money doesn't grow on trees, right? Sometimes you have to do that kind of stuff.
I know more than most.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. You absolutely do recently. Absolutely. Just like this is like kind of rookie stuff right here.
Yeah.
Just one. I just love the card. Still think it's undervalued. The grade, obviously. I am kind of a grade snob in that regard, to where I like 10s for PSA and 9.5s for BGS. Gems, just kind of my thing. But from like the Panini, I guess truthfully, my LeBron collecting really started with the Panini cards, even before the rookie cards, which I regret because I paid more for all of them, right? But probably a little more cool. I just the guy who owned the card shop flew a kid up from Florida to manage it for him. Became one of my closest friends named Justin, and I said, dude, I want to get into LeBron, but I wasn't to the point yet where I was willing to spend 4 figures on a card, let alone more than that, right? Like, give me an idea of something that I can do that I like. And he said, you like Select, you like Prism. He's like, I really think these low number parallels have a ton of room to grow. And I was just like, you know what? I love opening the stuff. I think they look great. Obviously we all know he hasn't signed autos in how long, and I'm gonna do it. And over like I want to say like 2.5, 3 years, I just bought every single one that I could find, no matter what the price was. If it was out of Select or Prism, and it was a 101, number to 5 or number to 10, I just literally bought every single one. I didn't care about the grade, the set, what number, anything. I just bought it. And it ended, fortunately, it ended up being a pretty good. Up until recently, it's been a pretty good venture, but now the market's kind of caught up, and it's insane, some of the stuff. Some of these Panini LeBron cards, first-year Prism stuff, it is literally insane how fast this stuff has grown and how much people want it. But
yeah, show us that kind of stuff. I want to see some of the Panini stuff that you're talking about.
Sure. So I looked at this on the camera before I brought it, and you can't appreciate how freaking cool this card looks. But it's the 1/1 Black Pulsar Fireworks out of 1415 Prism, and it's different than a lot of the finites, to where a lot of the stuff is a more dark black. This is almost like a charcoal black because of the Pulsar on it. And Fireworks is kind of one of those Prism insert sets that's kind of been going around for a while, and I think it's awesome. This one, the design I don't like quite as much, but it's this is, I believe, this is 1516 Fireworks 101.
You definitely have the market cornered.
Well, again, think I'm a pretty humble guy. Up until 3 weeks ago, I think I had somewhere between 140 and 150 like golds, greens, and blacks, just selecting Prism of him, and the number has unfortunately dwindled down pretty significantly over the very, 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 very near term. But yeah, it's still stuff I love. It's still stuff I'm gonna try to pick up. It's just for what I got into some of this stuff for
Right.
3 years ago compared to now, it's a tough pill to swallow sometimes, you know.
Do you have any gold one on hand? I want to show some of the viewers like the gold Panini stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So this one is really, really cool to me. It's probably my favorite actual gold card. Not just the card, but the actual picture, because it was just such an amazing run. And being a LeBron fan, being close to Cleveland, going to the games, it's the MVP and championship trophy select, where it's like kind of pulsary, but kind of like checkerboardy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see, it's 10 and 10.
Nice.
It's just, it's incredibly sick. And when I saw that, I'll do my best to kind of show it, but I actually have a full rainbow of the gold, the green, and this still might be my favorite card of all time. I would probably sell every card I own before I sold that, just because it's just so damn cool, man.
Yeah.
It's just so damn cool. I mean, I'm not like a Panini fanboy by any means. Like, I think, you know, for as much stuff as they're doing right, they're doing a lot wrong too. But the way those cards look, and, you know, I think as exclusive as they really are, I just think it's awesome stuff. I really do, and I'll continue to buy them, and I like it. But I'm proud of that one there for sure.
It's really fun to see guys do LeBron other than the rookie stuff, because most LeBron guys I know just focus on the rookie and like the early Topps Chrome. So it's kind of cool to see people that appreciate the newer Panini stuff.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and I agree. And it was almost, like I said, a little bit by accident. But there's so many cool like subsets that up until like 6 months ago, like newer guys in the hobby like me, or older guys who are just more, you know, upper deck tops guys that like really don't even know about this stuff. And it's really, really cool. I'm not saying it's like these guys that you have on that do this 90s stuff that like Grant Adam, and like those guys are insane. Like that stuff is crazy, crazy cool. But there's a lot of stuff that they're doing now that's, I'm not saying as cool, but it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
And I think long term it's nice stuff to have, you know.
And their card stock is kind of a weird thing to point out, but their card stock is like so nice, and it's like their Prism stuff. It just looks really, really well done, really high quality cards.
I agree, man. I would say at my peak when I had a bunch more. I would say half I bought raw, and I would say 85% would gem.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, that high, maybe 90%, honestly. You know, which is. And I've watched some of your old videos, and you know, I know it's something you discussed before. It's just the quality that they're actually giving pack pulled. Or like I forget he had on before, but he's like, you know, we were pulling these cards in the mid 90s, late 2000s. Like, you know, you got a 9 or an 8.5, you're ecstatic. You know what I mean? Now with Panini's quality control, you know, if you don't get a 9.5 on something you pack pull, you know, it's a little disappointing.
Right,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah, man.
So what's it like? Try to have everyone understand what's it like to collect LeBron, both from like a competition standpoint and like financially. Obviously, he's not cheap.
Yeah, man, that's a great question. So, I am a collector first and foremost, and I guess if I don't directly answer this question, just steer me back on pace. But I guess I want to give a little description before I get into it. I only do one of each card, other than like the Panini stuff, like the rookie stuff. Like it's about having as many different ones as I can, rather than multiples of the same one. I like the chase of trying to get there, right? And okay, I have this one now, and then I have this one, then I have this one, then I have this one. So it's what's it like from a financial standpoint? I mean, I'm so late to the game compared to these other guys that you have on, and you know, have exquisites from 8 years ago. I'll die never own an exquisite, you know, and have ultimates from 5-6 years ago and stuff like that, you know. it's like Chinese to me. I don't even understand. It's just like when I got into the game of buying LeBron rookies, they were already at such a premium that it was a decision I had to make with myself, saying, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna have to do it, and there's not gonna be a cute way to get around it or or anything
Yeah.
like that. But if you want them and this is what you want to do,
Yeah.
make sure that PayPal's loaded up.
Right.
And,
You kind of have to like. Someone asked me one day, and I was like, what do you want me to do? I don't, I don't have a choice. This is it.
for sure, for sure. And I'm not, I love it enough to the point where if it's something that I really, really want, I'm just paying for it.
Yep.
Like I know there's been, I've watched like all the videos and just people talking about, potentially shilling and our market's inflated artificially, things like that. For me, I don't care. Like if I want it, I'm just gonna buy it. I really am. And if it's especially something ultra rare, right? Because to me, I've passed on these rare cards so many times, man, and they just keep going up and keep going up and keep going up. And like, I regret when I sell cards. I regret when I pass on cards and then buy them way more. And I've done way more of that than I have in selling cards. It's I guess I'll show another one. For instance, like this right here. I've literally, and this is relatively new for me. I've probably only owned this card for about 4 or 5 months. I've passed on the SB Authentic Auto. I can't even tell you how many times for a fraction of the price that I paid for that one.
Right.
And I just, if I want it, I want to get it, and whatever it takes, especially if it's rare, man. If I get outbid, so be it. But if I want it bad enough, I don't know. That doesn't happen much, I guess you could say, if I want it.
So how do you currently rank LeBron cards in terms of, like, I know you said some of that, like, select one-on-one stuff, is your favorite, but how do you, now that you're kind of, you've been in it a little bit longer, how would you rank it overall, the different eras of cards?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So, when we talked, I said, I hope we only talk about LeBron because I'm not, like, the truest of card guys, because the guys you have on are so knowledgeable, man. Adam, Grant, Josh, Justin, like Nat, like those guys are like insane to where like it's funny because I've only been in the hobby for like 3 years and definitely like not trying to be a fanboy, but like when you like find out about what those guys have, like when you're first getting into it, I've never met them, like never seen them in a show, you're just like, that can't even be real life, right? And then you meet some of them and they're like super, super cool and they have like all this knowledge about stuff that I have no knowledge about. So it's so cool to hear those guys talk about the 90s Jordans, the 90s inserts, PMG, stuff like that. Even for me, I miss the exquisite era. So like, these guys that have these like Jordan exquisite, like just like insane pieces. And I mean, I've got a few LeBron exquisites, but nothing like these other guys. I mean, it's just insane stuff. I don't know, man. I'm very bullish on this stuff, like extremely. I feel better about it every day, especially the LeBron stuff. I mean, I'll just state the obvious, like fingers crossed he never signs autos again. I'm still extremely bullish, man. I feel great about it. As far as like modern stuff, like from like a player perspective, I mean, obviously I still think he's the best, but like when it comes to, specific, whether you want to get into like 90s inserts, like current day Panini RPAs, like old school non-rookie exquisite stuff, I mean, not to be biased, but like I think I have to put it near the top of all that stuff, I mean, the demand is so insane for this stuff right now that, I mean, cards that I want that aren't even, again, prices, I guess, all relative, but aren't even crazy price stuff. I mean, you might see this stuff come up 2-3 times a year, and these aren't like SB Authentics or Ultimates or anything like that, And it's just like, man, the demand is so crazy. And guys like me, when I I'll sell the Panini stuff here and there to buy rookie stuff, but when I get the rookie stuff, I mean, it's in the safe, it's done. I mean,
See ya.
No intention of selling. Hopefully I can give them to like my kid, or if I have a kid, or someone who I care about later in life, or if God forbid financially ever need it. But like as far as like a plan, like the plan is keeping them in the safe, keeping them out of the light. Like
Yeah.
that's the plan. So, I've got to put it towards the top, man. How much different stuff they did, how unique a lot of the rookie stuff is, how it's different, what Panini's doing today that's kind of different without the non-autos, kind of filling the void of like the guys who know about mid-90s or like 90s kind of insert stuff. I think it's a great balance of like auto rookie stuff, patch auto rookie stuff, non-rookie patch auto stuff, and then like now this insert stuff. I just think there's cool little sects that everybody can kind of like specialize in, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to stop and point out that like your energy for the hobby is like exactly what we need. It's like if we had 1,000 guys like you come into the hobby, like it would just take off in popularity. Because I think you even referenced at the beginning, like this stuff is weird, it's for kids, it's kind of lame, and then you get into it and you're like, wow, there's just it's really cool, right? You're connecting to sports. There's all these different avenues. There's money. There's all these different parallels. There's different styles. Like there's a little bit kind of for everybody. So it's really cool to hear someone come in and be so excited about it.
Yeah, man. No, I'm admittedly a pretty loud and animated person by nature,
But it's
and
good.
also I'm still a little bit nervous just because I said like the guys that you've had on before, man. They're just such heavy hitters in the hobby that the knowledge and their collections are. I mean, you combine both of them. I mean, literally talking like top 1 percentile type stuff. I mean, like crazy stuff from a knowledge and PC perspective. But yeah, man, I think it's really cool. I love going to shows. I'll definitely be at the National this year, set up in like the worst booth in the entire show, in like the very, very back. So like, if you see me there, man, I'm there. Definitely come say hello. I won't have any of my LeBrons out, but we can at least talk and see what's going on. But it's yeah, I appreciate it, man. I do love it though. My business partners are into it as well. The one's a pretty big Trout guy, and the other one's a pretty big McDavid guy, and it's a cool balance. We all kind of do our own thing, but we love it. And in the office, we're all into it. It's awesome, man. We're happy to do it for sure.
Awesome, I love it. Okay, so we've seen that you got some big stuff. What's like the white whale? What are like the big ones that you don't have?
All right. So I'm gonna save the best for last. I guess you kind of have to. Just some exquisite stuff. Again, I don't have many. I mean, some guys just blow me out of the water, but this is one that I don't see much, which I don't think has a lot of love, but I think it's awesome, and the patches are crazy. This is out of 2006. This is Emblazone endorsement, the number to 15. Crazy patches.
Yep.
Cool card. Auto's not great. I'm a pretty big snob for autos. With LeBron stuff, man, you just see that premium on those good, dark, bold, awesome autos, And I almost care about that now more than the grade, because it's the markets. I wouldn't say it's directly affecting that. I mean, the gems and the 10s and stuff are still doing better, but when you get into some of that perfect auto stuff, like this one, I don't know, noble nameplates, man, just awesome.
Oh, God,
great auto. Cool card.
Yeah,
cool.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's cool. Then my favorite exquisite, probably a little bit because of the grade, but also I've always been a limited logos guy. I hope one day I can own the rookie. I like the limited logos rookie even more than I like the RPA. Believe it or not, I do.
Wow.
I'm not saying I think it should ever be worth more money.
Right. You just like the look of it.
And I understand how iconic the card is, and it's almost a little blasphemous saying it from a collector, but just the pure eye appeal of the card.
Yep.
I love it, and it's killer. But this is
that one's nice.
Yeah, it's a 10 too. It's a pop one. Yeah, cool card. Good patch. A lot of the patches in this one are pretty cool. But I like that one for sure. I don't know, I guess maybe like some stuff that I think is like undervalued right now. If anybody cares of what my extremely novice and amateur opinion is of the LeBron market.
People are getting their notepads out right now, I promise.
Yeah, right. This card right here, man, the UD Legends auto.
Yeah.
I think there's a ton of room in this card. I think it aesthetically is an awesome card to where you don't see a lot of the rookie year LeBrons have these kind of like I don't want to say the word like off color, but where it's a black and white photo. They're just with blue and black and tan really is the only color on the card, and the autos on these are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's an extremely undervalued card, and I love it. Again, if anybody cares, the pops on it pretty low too. So if you can get one, I think it's an awesome card to have, and I think the picture, the Cavs jersey, everything on it is really really cool. Another one that I'm like extremely proud of that I think I showed you this before, and I know you like it, and I think has a lot of room to catch up because I think Finest in general is still a little bit undervalued. Is the 304 refractor there?
So nice, dude. That was my first big LeBron card that I bought.
Yeah, I know it. All the love goes to Chrome, but visually, from a card design, I think the design of this card blows the Chrome card out of the water. And I know it's blasphemous, and everyone wants the Chrome, and I get it. I've got the Chrome, I get it. But this card, just like with the like streaking going back, and you get some yellowing on these ones. This one's still pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And the card I don't have is the gold parallel of this, which I think, again, visually is just unbelievably good looking card. And hopefully one day I can find one in good condition. They're just so beat up, but you know, at some point it is what it is.
Speaking of the Chrome, didn't you make a big?
Yeah, we'll just take it out of the bag now. I got it last week.
He saw my video and he's like, you know what? Yours isn't as good. I got to get the 10.
I'll tell you what, it's funny, man. That whole week with this card is so crazy. You picked one up. I found a local guy in Pittsburgh who just had this, which is like literally the craziest thing ever. We do a deal, and then one goes up on eBay the night that I bought this.
Yep.
Another one goes up on eBay. Again, I'm not like Mr. Card Detective or like monitoring like worth point every second of the day, but like I think it has to be at least about 2 years since one of these is publicly sold, like through eBay. Like I can't find one, and to have like know a guy that got one, to pick one up myself, and then talk to the guy on eBay that has one. It's just like what? Like it was just a crazy week for this card.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like a total coincidence, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'll take it. You know, this is another one too, man. I don't know if it matters. It's 6 of 50. So
Oh, nice. You didn't tell me that.
easy number, I guess, if that still pertains to anything.
Yeah,
But
it totally does, man.
I've passed on that card so many times when I was getting into this. 3 years ago, a little more, when they were not readily available, but like you could get one if you would pay a little over what the last one sold for. And I passed, and I passed, and I passed, and I passed. And then, I mean, needless to say, to sell a lot of my stuff to buy that one. But I'm glad I have it. I love Chrome. It's an iconic card. Like, my girlfriend and, like, my mom, they're just like, what? They're like, we don't get it. I'm like, trust me, this is an iconic card.
Right.
Truly, truly iconic.
Right.
I would have probably given up anything in my collection to get it if I had to, if it came down to it. It's, I don't know if it's per se my favorite card, but I understand the significance of that card, more than a lot of stuff that I have. I don't know. And this isn't. I'll stop. Talk a little bit more. I'll show one more. This is another really really cool one that I have. Is Gold Bowman. 1 of 50 on this one too.
1 of 50.
Yeah. So it's
Soul Brothers, right? Isn't that what I told you?
That's it, brother. That's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Seriously, that is crazy, though, right? I mean, of 3, maybe 4 significant golds: the XRC Finest, the regular Finest, the Bowman, and the Topps. We have 2 of those.
We gotta find the other ones.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
I'm so glad you misunderstood my question because you showed us awesome cards. But my question was, what do you not have that you want?
Oh my goodness.
But I'm so glad you misunderstood because it turned out great.
I apologize.
No, it's perfect.
I definitely still want an Ultimate. I just, again, I don't really care about what the market says about that card. I don't care if, some people say they're jumping up and there's this and that behind it. I don't care. I mean, I want it. It's an iconic card. It has its place. I hope to get one of those at one point. And anything exquisite rookie year. I mean, it's so it's kind of cliche, right? Because like everybody wants rookie exquisite year, and I get it, but that I don't have any. You know, I'd love to have an RPA someday. I mean, I would never get rid of it. It'd be cool. The nameplate. I mean, all that stuff. It's super cool. Another card that I really want right now. I wouldn't put it as a white whale from like a value standpoint, but is the UD Glass patch auto from his rookie year that has the 2-3 as the patch and the auto vertically. I just think it's an incredibly cool card, and it's a patch auto of his rookie year, and they're like still very reasonable. I've had looked at a couple with some like really serious auto issues, so I haven't pulled the trigger on that.
Yeah.
But that's one that I really want. And also, I'll tell you what, I actually lied. My biggest white whale that I know I'll never own is the gold of this in a high grade. Yeah. That's my biggest white whale. That or the XRC gold, the white suit one. Those two I would. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm more of a guy that likes non-auto cards. I just see the place in the market for the patch auto stuff.
Yeah.
But the actual visual appeal, like I like Finest Chrome, Bowman, like that's just kind of X-Fractor, stuff like that. Like just really cool to me. I like the look of it.
Same, dude. We are the same.
Yeah.
I want to ask you specifically about the 2012 Panini Prism and 2013 Panini Prism, the gold variation. Like, you can tell me if you want, but just kind of what they mean, like historically, and you know how absolutely rare they are, and also just the recent like total boom in popularity of those cards. Can you just talk about those?
Yeah, man, crazy, right? So I owned a couple 13-14s for a while. I've recently sold them. But the 12-13 I didn't own until probably 3 months ago. I sold that too. Paid through the nose for it. But when I first got into it, that stuff, I'll tell you this, what's cool about the Panini Gold stuff right now are the only guys that have it are diehard collectors.
Yeah, that's right.
The only guys that have it.
That's right.
Guys who only care about money have this card. They have these, right? They have all that stuff. The truest of the truest guys who love the golds are the only guys that have this stuff. And when I got into it, I would have bought them all. The problem was they were never for sale. They just weren't, because the guys who had them loved them.
Yeah.
And I know a guy right now, I think he has either 4 or 5 of the 12-13 golds. He's got like 3 of the USA golds, like first year, 12-13. I mean, just like crazy stuff now, right? Whereas 2 years ago, it was just like, if you didn't love it, the mainstream surely didn't care about it.
Right,
like,
right.
The market shows that. I think that, obviously, I think Prism's here to stay, a million %. I think people want to fill that Chrome void, which I don't blame them. Chrome's awesome. Finance is awesome. Bowman's awesome. And I think Panini does a lot of stuff with the amount of products that they do that isn't awesome. I think Prism is pretty cool. I think Select's cool. Wasn't even a huge fan of Optic up until this year, which I like. But with like the value of those cards, I don't know, man. I think anything you can put first in front of, right, people are going to like. First year Prism, first gold, you know, it's an incredibly good looking card visually. So is the 13-14. The 13-14 actually might be the most underrated visually card, like visual appeal that Panini's ever made from a Prism standpoint, in my opinion.
Yep.
It's a great looking card. And I think another reason it took so long to catch on is and you can totally prove this through WorthPoint and just the price of sales. LeBron's Heat stuff after he left the Heat was so crappy. Like, nobody cared. Like, nobody cared about, like, the low-numbered stuff, the one-on-one stuff. Like, nobody cared. And all that cool Panini stuff, right, of 12, 13, 13, 14, all that it's still Heat. And I think it's even better now that he's even off the Cavs and somewhere else.
Right.
It's even more nostalgic. It's cooler. It seems older, like all that, you know.
Right.
So the boom is. I'm glad it's there. You know, I like to see that. I like to see that stuff appreciated. But what I think the best part about it is, no guys who are in this only on a financial reason own a single one of them.
Yep.
And that's so awesome.
Yeah,
right?
that's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean that literally. Not a single one.
I know.
Only guys that love it. I mean, when I have to move, like, again, quick story, like, when I have to move stuff, like the gold stuff, the black, green, stuff like that, I'll make one call, and a guy will buy like 10, you know, who will never sell them, will give me full go because he wants them or he doesn't have this one or stuff like that, you know? And it's just, when you do deals with guys like that, it's just so awesome because at any point in 2, 3, 5, 10 years, you know without a shadow of a doubt that he's still going to have them. You know?
For sure.
Which is killing. Yeah, absolutely.
I know where a bunch of them are, and I know we're talking about the same guys, but I don't even message them. Like, there's no point wasting my time. They're like, yeah, it's not for sale, dude. Are you kidding? This is the only one I'll ever have.
Right, absolutely, man. And my dealings with like the serious guys that do it are kind of the same way, you know, which I just think is so awesome. I wish, I hope that trend continues. Not to talk about too much about the Panini stuff, but I hope that trend continues with this stuff, because if you know, again, if he never signs autos again, guys, like, what? At some point, there's enough guys like me who just buy these autos and throw them in the safe. And I think that anybody who's collected LeBron seriously over a 5-year period or less, like I was talking earlier, just the scarcity coupled with the demand it's insane. I mean, even like 4th, 5th year, like crappy, like not crappy, but much lesser than products like patch autos, like sweet shots and stuff like that. Like, even that stuff's legitimately hard to find at market. If you want it, you can pay over for it, but to actually find it at market, 5th year, 6th year stuff that, like, if it was anybody else, who cares? You know, it's still scarce. So I'm glad that stuff's where it's at with the Panini. As far as why it's there, I think first sells, man. And I think the card designs are cool, and I think Prism's gonna stay. I mean, other than, I don't have any, I guess, more intellectual thought on it. I try my best, but I think that's the best I can come up with.
They're cool looking is always a good answer.
Yeah. Though they are. They're amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So what's the future look like, both for you and the hobby?
Yeah. For me, you know, it's slowed down. You know, I mean, now, you know, if I buy 5, 6 cards a year at this point, unfortunately, I'm doing well. From a rookie perspective, you know, it's just kind of where I'm at, man. You know, the stuff I want, it isn't cheap, and I'm not made of money, but I want it, so I'm willing to forego the constant Jones of chasing this disease of adding to the PC and getting mail days and updating flickers and keeping it all up to date. You know, it's tough because you want to add, man. If you're into this, you want to add to it. And unfortunately, you know, there's just some stuff that when it presents itself, I've got to pull the trigger, and it sets me back so far that I've got to bandage up for a couple of months before I can get back in the ring, you know?
Oh, I know.
It's just how it is. I think I'm going to continue to really actively, strategy, whatever, I don't care. I'm going to continue to really actively pursue the Panini 101 stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a good amount on many already, and I want to continue to add to it. As far as the hobby, man, I like Dave. I'm not like, there's, you interview guys who are like way smarter on finance and like investing. I invest in like oil and gas rights up here, so kind of smart money wise, but not like truly crazy like financial institution type smart. But I think the hobby, other than some other instances with like altered cards and grading and shilling and like stuff like that, I get it. But as an overall, I think it's in such a good place, man. I really do. I think, especially basketball cards, just the global market,
Yep.
you know, rival with the scarcity of like the premium stuff, to how cool it is to where, with even though Upper Deck losing the license was, you know, blow. Everyone pretty much likes Upper Deck more than Panini. I mean, it's from a like market perspective, like dude, it was awesome. Look at how much more valued this stuff is. You think there's no chance it would be that way if they still had it, you know? So I love it. I'm so bullish on it, man. I'm long on everything. Anything I can get into, I'm into it. I feel very fortunate that I can put my money into something that I love as much as I do. You know, people don't understand. Now I have guys who buy clothes and cars and shit like that. It's just, stuff like that. And it's just like, God, you guys, like, it's cool stuff, but like, your money, it stinks. Like, that's like really bad. Like, that's like 6th grade economics. Like, don't buy like depreciating assets, you know? And it's just like stuff, even though there's some risk involved. I mean, if you're into the right guys and the right stuff, like, kind of not really. I'm just, yeah, man, I'm big time on this stuff right now. And my advice is if there's some really blue chip stuff out there that you're looking at that you want to buy, and if the money's not a problem and you're just like kind of scared for the longevity of it, do it, man. That's how confident. I hope this isn't used against me in some YouTube video in like 10 years. Like, look at this dummy.
The crypto stuff.
Yeah, how long the basketball card market is, right? Like, we're gonna do great. But I believe it, man. Actually, I'll show one more. Believe it. Speaking of Panini stuff, this one's kind of cool. Not to change subject too much, but
ooh,
little logo.
Little logo man action.
Yeah, a little logo dog.
Jeez.
It's the only non-selector Panini or non-selector Prism Panini card that I own. But it's a cool card. I like it.
So did you watch the Brent interview? Did you kind of get like I know a lot of people that I talked to kind of got, you know, jazzed up about the way he was talking about it, because it's similar to the way that you're expressing, you know, your bullishness of the hobby. Did you get excited hearing him talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Honestly, like, you know, I don't want to sound unoriginal, but, you know, I think just like from anything in business or finance or anything, like, if you're not willing to listen to the people that have been doing it longer than you, more successfully than you, then you're really doing yourself a disservice. Like, I don't know that guy. Like, they don't know me. Like, I don't consign with them. Like I really value that guy's opinion. And I know he's, you know, they're there to make money, but I mean, what they're doing with their site and explaining the actual numbers of it and just the commodity as a whole and how much room it still has left to grow, it's got me really excited, man. And I know it's mainstream and like it's like not an incredibly independent thought, but I mean, some of those numbers are just unarguable, right? And hearing Brent on here and hearing him talk about that, and then look at the site and everything that they're offering now, I mean, it's just really exciting stuff. I mean, stuff that if I told my father about, right, who's essentially done this his entire life, if I told him, like, this is where we're at, this is what we think, here's the data to support it, here's the numbers to support it, here's where we're at, I mean, it would be like me talking to him about my day in Chinese. I mean, just literally wouldn't understand it, you know? So, yeah, man, it's incredibly exciting. As much as I love the cards themselves, where the whole hobby is going for me, other than those small outside issues, is incredibly exciting. I mean, I love it.
Well said, man. I want to end it there. That was just really well said. Agreed.
Cool, man. Yeah, man, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. I've shouted them out a few times, but I appreciate all the guys you've had on before, like Adam, Grant, Josh, Nat, all those guys. Like, it's killer to hear those guys talk about A, what they have, which is all awesome, and B, their knowledge of it and their stance on it. Just help me learn. It's helped me, you know, get to my little tiny piece of the pie, and I appreciate those guys.
Yeah, for sure. That's the goal of the hobby: increase the knowledge and show everybody kind of what's out there, so we can all enjoy the hobby a little bit more.
For sure. Yeah, and I want to thank you too, Josh, for having me on. Big fan of it. Keep doing it, brother. It's awesome. I know the guys that watch it love it, so keep it up, man. I appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that. Talk to you later.
Yep, sounds good.